Yo, what is up everyone? It's your boy OJ here coming at you with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about how the big N doesn't need to do anything crazy to have innovation. Now, over the past 2 generations, Nintendo has done some different things. It's worked for them once, it hasn't worked for them with the Wii U. So with the Wii, they did a Wiimote motion controls. It caught a whole wave of people, obviously all the casuals and everything like that. But this generation, they tried to do this something similar as far as causing something completely different that has a big screen on there, the gamepad, but that didn't quite work out. All the casuals basically left to mobile, smartphones, all that stuff, leaving very few people behind, and Nintendo leaving out a lot of things that gamers wanted in favor of a gamepad that they didn't use enough in their games. So I want to ask, for Nintendo going forward, what do you feel that they're going to do? And do you want them to continue to do those crazy things they've done with the Wii era? I'm just going to dub it the Wii era. And you know what? I'm indifferent on this. I think when the Wii U first launched, and even when the Wii first launched, I was so on board. I was like, heck yeah, give me this. I want more of this. And well, some games worked well on the Wii, and I thought it was really cool. Sometimes I just really wish I had the option to just play with the normal controller. A lot of times Nintendo didn't even give us the option on the Wii just to play with the classic controller with their first party games. For example, like Super Mario Galaxy or even Donkey Kong Country Returns. You had to either use a Wiimote on its side or use the nunchuck extension. Couldn't even use the classic controller for that type of game. And the motion controls in that game weren't even really good, to be honest. So they fixed that with the Wii U, where many of their games you can use any controller that you want. But the only problem is this, and at least it wasn't as much for me, but for a lot of people, is that the gamepad, as far as the battery life, if you're playing a game and you know, like Wind Waker HD, and you're playing for a long time, I mean, that battery is going to die over and over. You're going to have to charge it, and depending on your room setup and where you have an outlet, you might be able to plug it in and still play. It's a pretty long cord, but then again, you might not. So going forward, what do you feel Nintendo needs to do? Do they need to do something like a crazy idea like that again? And in my opinion, Nintendo doesn't need to do those things to be an innovative company or to make innovative games. I don't really think so, because here's the thing, guys. Splatoon is innovative, right? Of course it's innovative, but Splatoon can easily be played with the standard controller and just be as innovative, in my opinion. I don't think it's gyro aiming that what makes Splatoon innovative, or even tapping the screen to blast off. Those are things that you can do as far as gyro and stuff like that. You can do that with the normal controller with the gyro sensor in there. You might not have a screen to tap your allies to pop over to them, but you can press like the select button and a little overlay would come up and you can do that then, or a hot swap button. I don't think it would be very hard to program in something like that with the standard controller. And there's been some great uses of the Wii U gamepad, don't get me wrong. I mean, Super Mario Maker is one of the great examples of that. But a lot of that stuff came really later, and I don't know if it should come in the expense of them just doing a normal controller and adding in some cool things into that normal controller. For example, Nintendo could put an NFC chip in there to where you can still do Amiibo in there. It can still have a gyro in that controller as well. How about swappable different buttons and face layouts and stuff like that? So there is some innovative stuff that they can do there, but it really just comes down to the games. And Nintendo's never needed any type of gimmicky type of deal. And that's the thing. Not that there's anything wrong with gimmicks, but Nintendo's never needed those to be innovative. For example, Super Mario 3D World. That game is amazing in my opinion. I think there's a lot of great level design and a lot of cool innovative ideas for the platforming genre. And it has nothing to do with the gamepad or with the Wii remote. So in my opinion, they don't really need to do anything crazy or anything that they've never had to, and they don't need to going forward. Nintendo's games are always great for the way that they are and the way that they play and the ideas that are put into the game. Pikmin is another game that people love. They feel that there's a lot of great stuff in there. You don't need a gamepad for that game either. I mean, it's nice. I guess it's cool to have it as an extra thing and you can use it to play. But Miyamoto was playing with the Wii Remote and Nunchuck. And to be honest, you can play with a standard controller type too. So it doesn't take away what the developers can do with the game. And I think if you were to tell Nintendo's developers, oh, well, you know, you have to do this, like, in order for it to be innovative, it'd be like, no way. We can make innovative games no matter what. Heck, let's look at the GameCube, for example. Look at how many innovative games Nintendo made on the GameCube. Look at how many transformational games Nintendo had with Metroid Prime, with F-Zero. There were so many great games on there that really just pushed that tech and pushed what Nintendo could do from a game development standpoint to the limit. There were so many good ideas, even in where people didn't see eye to eye. For example, like I don't like Super Mario Sunshine. I can admit there's some really cool things in Super Mario Sunshine. So I have to say this, going forward with Nintendo, do they need to continue to innovate and continue to do things? Yes, they do need to continue to innovate and continue to do cool things. Do they have to do something to where the controller is completely different or there's some type of weird interface or anything like that? Absolutely not, because what it comes down to the games and it comes down to the gameplay, and no matter what apparatus or device that you have, it's all about the ideas put into the game. And that's what I think Nintendo's going to do going forward. Focus on the games, focus on making them amazing, focus on just putting everything you got into that game instead of worrying about what type of device or what type of thing people are going to have. Don't get me wrong, it's always cool to push tech forward. Heck, you got PlayStation VR coming out, you got HoloLens, all that stuff is really cool. But don't forget, as far as standard, what you just get. Don't forget what's most important. And what's most important is just the game itself, which Nintendo knows that. But then again, at the same time, sometimes I feel that they're trying to shoehorn in something in there. You know, if you have an idea, that's great. It can be something that's a peripheral, and if people really catch on and like it, you can bundle it with it. But in my opinion, Nintendo can do things standard and really focus on just the games itself, because I'll be honest, I love playing with the Wii U Pro Controller. I think the Wii U Pro Controller is amazing, guys. 80 hours of battery life. That is an innovation in itself compared to the PlayStation 4 DualShock. It doesn't last anywhere near as long. So that is crazy right there. 80 hours, that's pretty innovative in my opinion. So, let me know what you guys think. I'm not trying to bash Nintendo's past innovations. I'm not trying to bash the Wii era or anything like that. There's plenty of good games, plenty of games that I like. But then again, at the same time, I'm looking back and I'm like, you know what? I love the Super Nintendo era more than any other era. I loved that era. I loved PlayStation 1. I loved Super Nintendo. I loved a lot of the PlayStation 1 RPGs. And I looked at a lot of the Super Nintendo RPGs and a lot of the innovation that they were doing back then. And I'm like, there was some motion control stuff for some like Super Scope and all that. But for the most part, a lot of the games just used a standard controller and innovated through gameplay, like Chrono Trigger, like Secret of Mana, like all of the games, Breath of Fire. There were so many transformational titles. Heck, even Super Mario RPG, Super Metroid. Think about all these games that came out on the Super Nintendo that just used a standard controller, but they were innovative due to the ideas, due to the developers just putting that in the game and focusing on that. And I think that's what's important. So I think I rambled on long enough. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I know a lot of you guys love the Wii type stuff and the Wii U gamepad, and I know a lot of you guys are so iffy on it. So give me your thoughts below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Alright, so that basically wraps it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button if you like this video. Let me know you guys want more content just like this going forward. And also subscribe to PlayerEssence for more news, reviews, trailers, tips, and tricks. We will see you guys for the next video. Peace.